you see, I got the fenders pretty much where I want them. They're still pretty loose because I knew I had to pull the fronts of these in and do all that stuff. What I really wanted to show you is this on these repops. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just a total fold over. It's almost an 1/8 of an inch out, so it won't let this panel pull in anyway. So I'm going to take my little die grinder and I'm just going to cut that off. Hopefully I don't go into the seam, and if I do, I'm going to take all this off, re-weld it, I'm going to grind it down. Just the nature of the beast with this repop panel. So, well, as you can see, cleaned up nice, but I went through. So I got to weld it and grind it. Good gravy. And the other side looks even worse. I don't know how I'm going to fix it. So I'll show you that in a second. Now this is the opposite side. I don't know what the heck happened here. Maybe it got dropped in shipping. But you can see this is supposed to be almost pointed, and it's totally smashed. So I'm going to try to get a screwdriver in here, get that shape as close as I can to what it's supposed to be. Well, that's about as good as I can get it. What I did is I took a screwdriver that was small enough to get in here, kind of pried that open, then I shaped the top and the bottom as best I can. It's still pretty squared off, but at least I'll be able to get this front panel on and I can continue working on that. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to kind of wait till I get some guide coat on and see where I need to go with that. I'm just banging on it like crazy. So anyway, the next thing on our list to do is to get this Anvil Auto Lower Valance put on. I'm going to turbo this car, so this will give us some nice air to our intercooler. Sorry, brake part there, but anyway, so like I said, make sure everything's loose when you're doing this. We still got some hood adjustments to do. Fenders aren't, they're tight, but not totally tight yet. But when I was putting this on, I don't listen to my own advice, right? And I tightened those, the lower extensions on there. So let me show you what I had to do to make that fit. I'm just gonna hold the camera and kind of go in there. So I had to loosen all these bolts up. I had to take these out because now they won't even line up, but that's okay. Once we get this where we want it, we'll tighten those up and be able to re-drill those holes because they don't quite line up just the way it sits. So as you can see, once I got this where I wanted it, this top bolt, and this bolt line up. This one doesn't at all. So that's the only one that really doesn't matter anyway. These are all built in, but that one is just a clip. So I'll just drill that hole out, I'll mark it, drill it out, and move the clip. But as you can see, it's perfect. So everything lines up on the side there as well. So I'm really happy with the way that fits. So we just got to do the other side. So sheet metal is not for the faint of heart, and it takes a lot of patience. That's why it's taken me so long. So anyway, when that lower valance on, I realized that this has a huge imperfection right here, and it won't let that thing even come close to being where it needs to be. So I had to take all that off, and I'm gonna have to fix that giant, I don't know what that is. It's kind of something with the stamping, but anyway, let's get that fixed. All right, that's totally lined up right there. Man, is that a pain in the butt. Anvil builds a really nice piece. At just those lower fender extensions just don't fit as well as they should. Anyway, back to work. Okay, so doing this size up here, as you can see, these don't go in the little notches they're supposed to go in. You can see the stock notches here and here. So I'm gonna have to grind these off a little bit for this to go in right, and probably reshape this a little bit. Kind of pushes this forward a little bit too far. So we're gonna mark that and cut that right now. I want to get you in here a little bit and show you. I marked those little tabs, and I'm just gonna grind them back to the kind of the same shape, just lower, so it fits in the little notch on the that front panel. So let's get that done, and then we'll go size it. You can see this. There's two notches in here that are round that these have to sit inside. And when they were grabbing, it wouldn't let this thing sit down inside. So when you're doing this locking mechanism, start with this thing first, get it sized right, get it sit in here. Then we can do our support. Then we can adjust our hood, the locking mechanism. So we're gonna get this down here, got this done. So we're gonna size it, see if it fits. Looks like everything's gonna line up now after we did after we ground this down. So we'll get our bolts put in there and we'll move to the next thing. So the next thing we're gonna do is put our support on. So that supports this, supports our new lower valance, which is important because our lower valance is fiberglass. I did not opt for the carbon fiber because it's really expensive. So anyway, so just check the size on this, you know, just to see how everything fits. And it looks like it fits pretty good, except for the bolt to the new valance is a little off. So I might have to re-drill this hole in the front, but we'll go through that right now. The rest of it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a bolt in the top into your locking mechanism. There's a bolt to your radiator support, and then a bolt to this front valance, and then 2 bolts into your lower valance. So I'll put it on high speed. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I couldn't find any videos really that shows how to do all this stuff. So just so you know, there's 3 parts to this. So your locking mechanism, your front support, and your hood latch. And we're gonna go through how to put all that in. So grab the camera by hand now so you can see this. So this front support right here, you'll be able to see that through the grill and down through the bottom. So you wanna make sure that's straight. It's pretty straight, but here's the problem. Let me get in here a little bit. Where it hooks in to that new valance right here, it doesn't line up. Not even close. Sorry. So it doesn't line up, not even close. It's up here. So I'm gonna make this hole bigger, and then I'm gonna go back and weld that. That's the only solution I can come up with, because this fiberglass has the bolt built into it. So it's not really, wouldn't really be feasible to drill a new hole in the fiberglass. So we're gonna fix the metal. So we had to take this support back off again. It's the second time I've taken it off, so hopefully the third time's a charm. Have my hole right here. I'm just gonna drill it out, make sure it fits. If it does fit, I'm gonna come and weld this hole back up again. So I guess I'm gonna at least have to have it off one more time. So anyway, never fits the way it should in these aftermarket parts. I try to buy the best I can afford. It's all AMD stuff, but you know, that's aftermarket lower valance made by Anvil. A really nice piece. Wasn't cheap for sure, but not everything fits the way it should, so sometimes you have to modify all these parts. Well, let's get to work. Let's get that done. So I got my drill. Got the proper drill bit, same size as this. Got this little cool spring-loaded punch off of Amazon the other day. I've been wanting to buy one of these for a long time. So I'm just gonna punch it, make a nice little hole that I can start my drill bit. That way it doesn't wander all over the place, and it should be easier. So I just wanted to show you how off that bolt hole was. There's the stock one. I had to move it up and over a little to the left. I had to do some grinding here, so I'm gonna have to weld all this in. Just kind of show you what you got to do. Sometimes you use these aftermarket parts. Okay guys, so I had to redo that hole, re-weld this hole, repainted all this. So this should go in now. I don't know, we'll see. Just want to zoom in there and show you real quick. So I finally got this thing, the new hole done, everything welded back up. I got it painted. So it's in there solid and all tightened up now. Everything fits really well in here. This latching mechanism, I got a couple bolts I need to tighten. Wanted to make sure that went in there first. So I'll tighten all this up and then we'll move on to the latch.
Yo, rolling out the garage as the fire broke crew, revving up the engines, got that horsepower flooding through. Wrench in my hand, we tinkering with dreams, oil stained hands, but we building our